Hey everyone! Ready to dive deep into the world of After We Fell? Released on September 30th, 2021. This film has sparked endless discussions, and today, we're uncovering every thrilling detail. If you enjoy this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us grow. And for more incredible movie explorations and hidden gems, subscribe to the channel. Now, let's unravel the magic behind this cinematic masterpiece. On September 30th, 2021, After We Fell hit the screens, and the world was once again swept into the tempestuous love story between Tessa Young and Hardin Scott. This was the third chapter of the After saga, based on Anna Todd's wildly popular book series, and it promised to continue the fiery, heart-wrenching journey of the characters that fans had come to love or love to hate. With every installment, the stakes grow higher, emotions run deeper, and the consequences of every choice seem to weigh more heavily. In After We Fell, the intensity only amplifies, drawing audiences into a whirlwind of passion, betrayal, and self-discovery. But why, exactly, did this film become such a cultural phenomenon? Why do fans keep coming back, not just for the steamy chemistry between the leads, but for the complex emotional depth that lies beneath the surface of Tessa and Hardin's relationship? To understand the power of After We Fell, you need to look beyond just the surface-level drama and recognize the emotional intricacies that have captivated millions around the globe. This movie isn't just another romance drama. It's a tale of change, both internal and external. It takes the audience on a journey of two young people caught in the throes of love and all its complexities, as well as the turmoil of trying to break free from the shadows of their pasts. At its heart, After We Fell is about personal growth, the sacrifices we make for the people we love, and the hard truths that come to light when we confront not just the world around us, but also the things we've buried deep within ourselves. It's a film that doesn't just ask if love can conquer all, but also if love can be enough when it feels like everything else is falling apart. For those who are familiar with the After series, After We Fell doesn't disappoint. The chemistry between Tessa, Josephine Langford, and Hardin, hero Fiennes Tiffin, continues to crackle on screen, electrifying every scene they share. But what makes this installment particularly extraordinary is how it builds on the emotional baggage from the previous films while introducing fresh challenges that test the very foundation of their relationship. The characters, who have been through so much together already, find themselves at a pivotal moment in their lives, ready to take the next steps into adulthood, but also at the crossroads of everything they thought they knew about themselves, each other, and their love. The plot of After We Fell is anything but simple. It picks up where After We Collided left off, with Tessa now standing on the edge of a new chapter in her life. She's determined to carve out a future for herself, independent of Hardin. As she steps into the adult world, accepting a job opportunity in New York, she feels a sense of empowerment, but that same strength leads to a tension between her and Hardin. This is not just about love, it's about growth, and the fear that as they grow, they may no longer fit together the way they once did. The emotional stakes are raised as Hardin struggles to keep control of the demons from his past while desperately trying to hold on to Tessa. He is, in many ways, his own worst enemy, his love for her deeply intertwined with his need for redemption. But this need for change threatens to unravel everything they've fought for. As the film progresses, After We Fell delivers emotional punch after emotional punch, layering in twists and turns that leave you questioning the nature of love, trust, and forgiveness. There are moments when the relationship seems doomed, when Tessa's independence and Hardin's possessiveness seem irreconcilable. The plot teases betrayals that make you second-guess whether the characters will come out of this stronger or utterly broken. Hardin's volatile nature is pushed to the limits, but it's not just his anger and insecurities that drive the tension. It's the hidden wounds, the painful truths that threaten to surface at every turn. Secrets come to light that change everything they thought they knew about each other. The stakes have never felt higher, and the emotional cost of every decision feels so real. You can't help but be completely absorbed. But what truly makes After We Fell worth exploring are the performances. Josephine Langford and hero Fiennes Tiffin, as Tessa and Hardin, continue to deliver emotionally complex portrayals of characters who are broken, flawed, and deeply in love. There is a rawness to their chemistry that you can't ignore, Whether it's the quiet moments of vulnerability or the intense confrontations that leave both characters emotionally shattered, Langford and Fiennes Tiffin elevate the story with their depth and authenticity. The moments of tenderness between them are as compelling as the explosive arguments, and each scene is a testament to the actors' commitment to making their characters' struggles feel as real as possible. Of course, the visual elements of the film deserve mention as well. The cinematography in After We Fell is lush and immersive, with the filmmakers using every scene to create an atmosphere that enhances the emotional tone of the story. The film's colors, lighting, and setting often reflect the inner turmoil of the characters, visually representing the stormy nature of their relationship. Whether it's the intimate, close-up shots that allow us to witness every flicker of emotion in the characters' faces or the sweeping, more dramatic moments that heighten the tension, the visuals work in harmony with the narrative to pull you deeper into the world of Tessa and Hardin. There is a deliberate pacing to the film, with every moment of stillness before the storm making the inevitable emotional eruption feel all the more impactful. And then there's the soundtrack. A hallmark of the After series, the music in After We Fell plays a huge role in setting the emotional tone of the film. From powerful ballads to upbeat tracks, each song complements the narrative and amplifies the emotions at play. The music doesn't just accompany the film, it enhances the experience, making each scene feel more charged, more emotional, more alive. But it's not just the film's surface-level appeal that has made it a cultural phenomenon. After We Fell tapped into something much deeper, something universal. It's the story of love, yes, but more importantly, it's the story of two young people learning who they are and what they're capable of in the face of adversity. It's about learning to let go of the past, embracing the future, and coming to terms with the fact that love isn't always perfect or easy. It's messy. It's complicated. It requires forgiveness, both of yourself and of others. It's about finding a balance between holding on and letting go. And perhaps most importantly, it's about discovering what happens when you dare to love someone who isn't perfect, but is perfect for you in all the ways that matter. In the end, After We Fell became more than just a continuation of a love story. It became a cultural touchstone for fans who identified with Tessa and Hardin's journey. The themes of growth, personal struggle, and the complexities of love resonate with anyone who's ever been in a relationship where everything isn't neatly tied up in a bow. The franchise tapped into the deep desire for both the excitement of forbidden love and the raw honesty of personal transformation. As a result, the movie has sparked countless conversations, online discussions, and fan theories, further solidifying its place in pop culture. As viewers, we can't help but be drawn into the world of After We Fell, even if we know that the relationship at the heart of the film is bound to cause pain along the way. It's the unpredictable, wild nature of love itself that keeps us watching, eagerly waiting to see if Tessa and Hardin will find their way, if they can make it work against all the odds, or if they will ultimately be torn apart by their own unresolved conflicts. The tension between hope and despair, love and destruction, is what keeps audiences coming back for more. We're not just watching a romance unfold, we're watching two characters fight for their own sense of self, and in the process, for the love they share. For fans of the series, After We Fell is a film that doesn't just follow the formula, it defies expectations and challenges its audience to confront the complexities of love head-on. And for those who are just discovering the series, it's an emotional rollercoaster you won't want to get off. After We Fell opens with a tension that is as palpable as it is immediate. From the very first moments, the audience is thrown back into the emotional whirlwind of Tessa Young and Hardin Scott's chaotic relationship. The movie kicks off just as the second film left us hanging, and the stakes are higher than ever. Their passionate, fiery love is still undeniably present, but there's an undeniable undercurrent of doubt and mistrust that threatens to tear them apart. The tension between them feels like a ticking time bomb, and we're right there with them, holding our breath. Tessa, now having stepped into a more mature chapter of her life, is on the brink of a major decision. She's been offered a job in New York, a chance to start anew, independent of the mess that has been her tumultuous relationship with Hardin. She wants more than just to be with him, she wants to build something for herself. It's an exciting opportunity for growth, but it also carries the weight of a significant challenge. Tessa is faced with a decision that encapsulates everything the film is about. Can she pursue her personal dreams without losing herself in Hardin's world? Can she stand on her own, without him dragging her down? Or can she still find a way to make their fractured love work? Meanwhile, Hardin is struggling, more than ever before. His self-destructive tendencies haven't vanished. In fact, they've only become more pronounced. As Tessa prepares to leave, Hardin becomes increasingly desperate to keep her close. He knows the gravity of what is about to lose, and it begins to push him into a corner where he is forced to confront the unresolved issues from his past, the emotional baggage that is never fully dealt with. But despite all of this, Hardin's love for Tessa is unwavering. Though it's suffocated by his inability to communicate, his fear of opening up fully, and the damage his past has done to his present self. He is a man at war with himself, and it's clear from the start that his emotional struggles will be a massive driving force in this part of the story. The first real tension of After We Fell comes from the arrival of a significant new character, Christian Vance, played by the ever-charismatic and mysterious Charlie Weber. Christian is a wealthy businessman, an old acquaintance of Hardin's father, and someone who holds considerable influence over Hardin's life. As he enters the picture, it's clear that his presence has a profound impact on both Hardin and Tessa. For Hardin, Christian is a reminder of everything he resents about his father's legacy, and the complex dynamic between the two men creates an immediate sense of unease. Christian's relationship with Tessa, though initially cordial, quickly becomes a point of contention. Hardin's jealousy and suspicion flare up in the face of Christian's charm, and that's just the beginning of the emotional rollercoaster that's about to unfold. The tensions between Hardin and Christian are ripe with unresolved issues and deep-seated anger, and they serve as one of the key catalysts that will later send the story into a chaotic spiral. In the meantime, Tessa's own emotional journey becomes more complicated as she navigates the complexities of her burgeoning career, particularly when she's given a chance to work with a powerful company in New York. The promise of a new life and the distance it offers from the suffocating reality of her relationship with Hardin seems like the fresh start she needs. However, she finds herself constantly torn between her ambition and her love for Hardin, unable to fully commit to either without guilt. Tessa begins to realize that the cost of choosing one over the other may be too great, and this internal conflict drives much of the first half of the film. The question hangs in the air: can love survive when two people are on different paths in life, or is it doomed to falter under the weight of their separate dreams? Tessa's time spent away from Hardin brings new realizations, some painful, some enlightening. She starts to question if the relationship she's so invested in is truly what she needs, or if it's just what she's accustomed to. As she explores New York and begins to develop her career, she encounters people who help her realize her own strength and potential. These new influences make Hardin seem like a tether that holds her back, reminding her of everything she wants to break free from. The narrative at this point gives viewers a sense of dread, as we know that Tessa is inching closer to making the decision to walk away, but we also know that Hardin's world is not one easily left behind. The pivotal moment that shifts the dynamics between Tessa and Hardin happens when Tessa, overwhelmed by the mounting pressure and distance between them, decides to visit Hardin, bringing with her the promise of reconciliation. But the reunion doesn't go as either of them had hoped. Their raw, emotional confrontation hits the screen with the force of a storm. The vulnerability they share in that moment only deepens the connection between them, but it also exposes just how much they've both been holding back. They've been running from their pain, from each other, and from themselves, but they can no longer hide from the truth. In this scene, the heartache is palpable. Tessa realizes just how much she's been hurt by Hardin's emotional unavailability, and Hardin sees how much he's alienated Tessa in his desperate need for control. There's a glimmer of hope in their exchange, but it's clear that the road ahead will not be easy. This confrontation serves as the film's turning point, with the emotional stakes raised exponentially. Hardin begins to recognize the need to change, to not only win Tessa back but to change the toxic patterns that have defined his life. His decision to open up, to attempt a more honest version of himself, marks a significant moment in his character arc. But this shift in Hardin isn't without its struggles. He tries, but there's a fragility to his attempts. His efforts often come across as desperate rather than genuine, and the road to healing feels endless. As the film progresses, another pivotal moment arrives when Hardin's troubled past resurfaces. The revelation of his emotional scars, stemming from his abusive childhood and the complex relationship with his father, comes crashing down. Hardin's deep-rooted anger and resentment begin to spill over, not only affecting his relationship with Tessa but also with his own sense of identity. This descent into self-doubt and anger becomes the catalyst for one of the movie's most pivotal twists. Hardin's inability to deal with his emotions pushes him to the edge, and his actions, while coming from a place of hurt, show just how far he is from being the person Tessa needs. Yet, even as his flaws come to the forefront, there's a raw, tender side to his vulnerability that makes it impossible to completely give up on him. The revelation of his deep insecurities sets up a dramatic, heart-wrenching confrontation later in the film, where Tessa must decide how much of Hardin's past she can accept, and whether or not she can still trust him with her future. Tessa, too, is pushed to her limits, as the first half of After We Fell explores her journey towards self-discovery and independence. In a moment that feels like a culmination of everything she's fought for, Tessa makes a choice that could either solidify her growth or tear her apart. As she contemplates the future, the looming possibility of separation from Hardin becomes more and more real. The cracks in their relationship are now too large to ignore, and it's unclear whether their love can survive the weight of everything that has been unsaid. Tessa's vulnerability in these moments shines through as she faces the consequences of her choices head-on. The emotional complexity of her journey is magnified by the doubts, the fears, and the intense longing she feels for the love that she believes is slipping away from her. The first half of After We Fell doesn't hold back. It throws its characters into emotional chaos and doesn't offer any easy answers. Every decision feels like a weighty one, and every relationship is tested to its limits. Tessa and Hardin are both at crossroads, torn between their love for each other and the people they are becoming, and every scene is loaded with the tension of their uncertain future. Just as it seems that they might find a way forward, new revelations and shifting dynamics force them to confront the truth in ways that will change them forever. Every step they take toward healing is met with a push back into the past, creating an emotional struggle that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. The first half of the film foreshadows the storm that's coming, and with every twist and turn, it builds anticipation for the inevitable emotional confrontation that will decide whether Tessa and Hardin's love is worth the fight. As the second half of After We Fell unfolds, the emotional intensity escalates, and the stakes become even more profound. The tension between Tessa and Hardin, already at a breaking point, continues to spiral, and the choices they face are no longer just about their love for each other. They're about their identities, their futures, and the very foundation of who they are as individuals. What begins as a tentative attempt at reconciliation soon transforms into a heart-shattering journey filled with revelations, betrayals, and moments of surprising vulnerability. The film shifts gears as Hardin realizes that simply wanting Tessa back isn't enough. His love for her, though strong and desperate, cannot mask the deeper issues that have always plagued him. His emotional instability, his anger, and the trauma from his past. Hardin is forced to confront his greatest fear, losing Tessa not because he doesn't love her, but because he's never truly learned how to love her in a way that doesn't damage her. This is a pivotal turning point in his character arc, and it is also the moment where he begins to take responsibility for the pain he has caused, not only to Tessa but also to himself. For the first time, Hardin truly sees the impact of his actions, and the weight of that realization is devastating. The relationship between Tessa and Hardin, once defined by explosive passion and volatile emotions, now begins to shift. They're still deeply connected, but there's a rift that neither can ignore. This fracture grows as Tessa is forced to deal with the consequences of the choices she made earlier in the film. As much as she yearns for the stability that Hardin once provided, she can no longer ignore the fact that her own dreams are slipping away in the shadow of his turmoil. Tessa's job in New York and her growing sense of independence pull her further away from Hardin, and while they try to hold on to each other, the distance between them is undeniable. She wants to move forward in life, but Hardin seems stuck in the past, unable to truly change. A major development that dramatically alters the course of their relationship occurs when Tessa receives devastating news. Her father, whom she had long been estranged from, is in critical condition. Tessa is thrown into turmoil, as she grapples with her complicated feelings toward him and the looming possibility of loss. This crisis pushes Tessa to make a choice. Will she return to the place where she has unresolved pain and unfinished business, or will she continue to distance herself from the family she has always tried to escape? This emotional upheaval sets the stage for one of the film's most poignant moments, as Tessa decides to go to her father, despite everything that has come before. The significance of this decision is not lost on the audience, as it marks a turning point in her emotional journey, one where she is forced to confront her past and the person she has become because of it. Hardin, meanwhile, is caught in the fallout of his past actions. He has been battling his demons for so long, but it's only now that he truly begins to see the full scope of the damage he's done, not only to Tessa but to those around him. The revelation of Hardin's hidden pain is one of the movie's most compelling moments. He opens up to Tessa in a raw, unguarded conversation, revealing the extent of his self-loathing and the darkness that has haunted him for years. This moment of vulnerability is a significant shift in Hardin's character. No longer the cocky, brooding figure who hides behind his arrogance, Hardin is finally confronting the fact that the love he has for Tessa requires more than just grand gestures, it requires change. For the first time, he acknowledges that he has to learn how to heal and grow in order to truly be the man she needs. But as Hardin makes these efforts to change, he faces another major obstacle. A secret from his past comes to light, threatening to destroy everything he's worked for and potentially losing Tessa for good. His actions, once again driven by the same impulsive, reckless nature that has always defined him, lead to a catastrophic misunderstanding. Hardin, in a desperate attempt to prove himself to Tessa, makes a grave mistake that shatters the fragile trust they've been building. The fallout from this mistake is immediate and devastating, forcing Tessa to confront the painful reality that Hardin, despite his best intentions, may never be able to truly let go of the toxic patterns that have defined his life. In a particularly heart-wrenching moment, Tessa finds herself questioning everything she thought she knew about their love. The perfect future she imagined with Hardin now seems like an illusion, and she is forced to make a decision that will define the rest of her life. Tessa's emotional journey reaches a boiling point when she realizes that, while she still loves Hardin, she can no longer continue to sacrifice her own happiness for the sake of a relationship that is constantly in turmoil. The emotional weight of this realization hits hard, as Tessa decides to distance herself from Hardin once again, this time with no clear path back. The film's pacing reaches its highest intensity as the characters navigate the aftermath of their mistakes. The tension between them is suffocating, and it seems like the final confrontation is inevitable. Tessa, hurt and disillusioned, struggles to reconcile her love for Hardin with her need for self-preservation. She cannot keep going in circles, and the unresolved issues between them have become too much to bear. Hardin, on the other hand, refuses to give up. He knows that if he loses Tessa now, it will be the end of everything he's fought for, not just their love, but his own sense of worth. His desperation is palpable, and his pursuit of redemption becomes the driving force for the film's climactic moments. The dramatic climax of After We Fell occurs during a pivotal confrontation between Tessa and Hardin, where all the unresolved tensions, fears, and desires come crashing to a head. This is the moment when everything they've been avoiding is finally laid bare. Their raw, unfiltered emotions spill out as they grapple with their shared pain and unspoken truths. Tessa admits that, while she still loves him, she cannot continue in a relationship that has caused her so much heartbreak. Hardin, for the first time, acknowledges the depth of his mistakes and the irrevocable damage they've caused. He admits that he doesn't deserve her but that he will do anything to prove that he can change. In a moment of mutual understanding, both characters realize that their love, though imperfect, is real, and that it is worth fighting for. The resolution of their emotional turmoil is not a simple fix, nor is it without its scars. However, the film leaves viewers with a sense of hope, as Hardin and Tessa begin to understand that true love is about growth, compromise, and the courage to change. The complexity of their relationship doesn't disappear, but the film ends on a note of possibility, a new beginning where, while the road, emotional connection between them has the potential to survive if they are both willing to put in the work. The closing moments of After We Fell mirror the film's central themes: change, redemption, and the sometimes painful realities of love. Tessa and Hardin are not the same people they were at the start of the film. They have both evolved, not necessarily into perfect versions of themselves, but into individuals who are more aware of their flaws and their desires. The final shot, quiet and intimate, suggests that while the journey of their love may be far from over, the hard work of building something real has just begun. As After We Fell wraps up its emotional rollercoaster of twists, confrontations, and redemptions, the film leaves viewers with a sense of closure, but also a hint of anticipation for what comes next. While the story of Tessa and Hardin is far from a fairy tale, it is a powerful reminder of the messy, transformative nature of love, and the courage it takes to confront your darkest fears in order to embrace the future. The second half of the film isn't just about resolution. It's about growth, healing, and understanding that love, in all its messy, complicated glory, is worth fighting for. At the heart of After We Fell, as in the two preceding films, are Tessa Young and Hardin Scott, two individuals whose bond is as intoxicating as it is destructive. It's not just the love they share that defines them, but their growth, their struggles, and the emotional turmoil they endure. The depth of their characters, and the transformative journeys they embark on, form the spine of the story, making their arcs not only compelling but unforgettable. Both characters, in their complexity and vulnerability, are brought to life by the performances of Josephine Langford and hero Fiennes Tiffin, whose portrayals add layers of depth to Tessa and Hardin's tumultuous relationship. And it's not just Tessa and Hardin who make this story unforgettable. The supporting characters also bring crucial elements to the film, adding nuance and weight to the emotional landscape. Tessa Young, portrayed with a raw honesty by Josephine Langford, is a character whose growth is, in many ways, the heartbeat of the film. From the moment we met Tessa in the first film, she was a young woman navigating the unfamiliar and often overwhelming world of love, independence, and self-discovery. Over the course of the trilogy, Tessa transforms from a somewhat naive, shy student into someone who is grappling with her own identity, her career, and her relationship with Hardin. In After We Fell, this transformation takes center stage. Tessa is now faced with the reality of her choices and how they will define her future. Her motivations are rooted in a desire to forge her own path, away from the toxic patterns that have often defined her relationship with Hardin. As the movie progresses, we see her confront the complexity of her emotions. While she loves Hardin deeply, she also realizes that their love, though passionate and consuming, has often been one-sided, driven more by Hardin's volatile nature than by mutual understanding. Tessa's personal journey is one of growth and self-empowerment. She longs for independence, and the opportunity to move to New York represents the promise of a fresh start. One where she doesn't have to be defined by Hardin's emotional chaos. This desire for a life that's her own, where she can thrive without the constant push and pull of Hardin's love, fuels much of her arc in the film. However, Tessa's internal struggle lies in balancing her ambition with her love for Hardin. She constantly questions if she can have both, her career and her relationship, and if Hardin is truly capable of growing alongside her. Langford's portrayal of Tessa in these moments is incredibly nuanced. There is a tenderness to her performance, a vulnerability that resonates with anyone who has ever had to navigate the messy terrain between love and self-preservation. The quiet moments, where Tessa reflects on her past decisions and wrestles with her future, are some of the most poignant in the film. Langford effortlessly captures the essence of a woman on the cusp of change, someone whose emotional evolution feels natural and relatable. Her chemistry with hero Fiennes Tiffin is electric, yet it's her internal growth that forms the emotional core of After We Fell. On the other side of this complex emotional landscape is Hardin Scott, portrayed with an intense vulnerability by hero Fiennes Tiffin. Hardin's journey in After We Fell is one of self-realization, and it's a painful but necessary process for him to break free from the destructive cycle of his past. Hardin, as we know, is a character who has always been defined by his flaws, his anger, his impulsiveness, his self-destructive tendencies. Yet, as we move into the second half of the trilogy, Hardin begins to see that these qualities, though they've shaped him, don't have to define his future. Tessa's departure for New York and the possibility of losing her forever serve as the catalyst for Hardin's self-examination. He knows that he's lost her once before, and the fear of losing her again forces him to confront the emotional damage he's been running from. Hero Fiennes Tiffin's portrayal of Hardin is both raw and captivating. There's an anguish in his eyes, a depth to his performance that shows the audience the layers of Hardin's pain and his desire to be a better man, not just for Tessa, but for himself. In the early parts of After We Fell, Hardin is a man at war with himself, torn between his love for Tessa and his inability to let go of his anger and resentment. Fiennes Tiffin shows this struggle with remarkable subtlety, capturing the conflict in Hardin's body language, his sharp words, and the brief moments of tenderness that slip through the cracks. The film provides us with glimpses of Hardin's past, his abusive relationship with his father and the emotional scars that still haunt him. These moments are crucial to understanding why Hardin is so self-destructive. He's never learned how to love in a healthy way, and his attempts at change feel tentative, fragile. What makes Fiennes Tiffin's portrayal so gripping is that Hardin is never just the brooding, tortured soul we expect from a romantic hero. He's a complex character, filled with contradictions. Selfish yet caring, destructive yet capable of deep love. It's this complexity that makes Hardin's evolution so compelling. By the end of the film, Hardin is not the man he was at the beginning, but his journey is far from over, and it's the growth in Fiennes Tiffin's performance that makes Hardin such a memorable, unforgettable character. However, Tessa and Hardin are not the only characters whose motivations and transformations shape the narrative of After We Fell. The supporting characters play a crucial role in adding depth to the story, providing both contrast and context for the central relationship. Among the most significant of these is Christian Vance, played by Charlie Weber. Christian's role in the story is multifaceted. As a businessman and a figure from Hardin's past, Christian brings with him a sense of power and mystery. His relationship with Tessa is initially cordial, but his presence immediately causes tension with Hardin, whose jealousy flares as he tries to assert control over Tessa. Christian's calm demeanor and smooth charm contrast sharply with Hardin's emotional volatility, which makes their interactions filled with simmering conflict. Christian is more than just a plot device to drive a wedge between Tessa and Hardin. He's a reflection of the world Hardin has never fully understood. He represents a version of success and emotional control that Hardin, in his chaotic world, can never fully grasp. Christian's role in the story is pivotal because he forces Hardin to confront his insecurities, especially about his father. The scenes between Hardin and Christian are fraught with tension, and Charlie Weber plays Christian with a cool, understated menace that adds a layer of danger to his character. There's always an underlying feeling that Christian has his own secrets, and his influence on Tessa only further complicates her already strained relationship with Hardin. His significance to the plot cannot be understated, as he becomes a symbol of everything Hardin fears he could become. Someone controlled, restrained, and perhaps ultimately too distant to truly love. Then there is the character of Landon, Hardin's half-brother, portrayed by the always welcome actor, Chance Perdomo. Landon provides an interesting contrast to Hardin. While Hardin is wrapped in his turmoil, Landon is more grounded and represents the possibility of a life that is less chaotic, more stable. His relationship with Hardin is one of both sibling rivalry and care, and Landon is often the voice of reason, urging Hardin to stop sabotaging himself and to make decisions that could lead to personal growth. Landon's role is vital because he provides a mirror image of what Hardin could become, if only he could learn to let go of the anger and the fear that hold him back. Landon's unwavering support for Tessa, especially when things between her and Hardin get rocky, helps to provide a sense of balance in the emotional storm that surrounds the central couple. Tessa's friends, particularly her roommate, also add to the film's emotional texture. They serve as a sounding board for Tessa as she grapples with the ever-growing tension in her relationship with Hardin. Their conversations often provide both comic relief and moments of deep insight. Through these friendships, we see another side of Tessa, a side that is just beginning to embrace her independence and assert her own desires outside of her relationship with Hardin. They offer her a glimpse into the possibility of a life where she is not defined solely by her connection to Hardin, but by her own agency. In every frame, After We Fell succeeds in portraying its characters not as mere archetypes, but as flawed, multidimensional individuals whose motivations, fears, and desires feel as real as those of anyone watching. Josephine Langford and hero Fiennes Tiffin have mastered their roles, infusing Tessa and Hardin with such authenticity that the audience cannot help but become emotionally invested in their journey. The supporting characters, each with their own arcs and significance, add layers of complexity to the narrative, and their presence enriches the overall experience. Ultimately, After We Fell is not just a story about love. It's about growth, healing, and the painful process of becoming who you are meant to be. Every character, from Tessa to Hardin to the supporting cast, plays a pivotal role in making this an unforgettable journey that lingers long after the credits roll. Filming After We Fell, the third installment of the After franchise, was no small feat, while the movie has certainly made waves with its emotional rollercoaster of a plot and intense performances. The journey to bring this film to life was filled with unexpected twists, surprising challenges, and a number of fascinating behind-the-scenes stories. From the production challenges that nearly derailed the film to the unexpected moments that brought out the best, and sometimes the worst, in its cast and crew, the making of After We Fell was a truly remarkable experience that continues to captivate fans. Let's dive into some of the strangest facts and behind-the-scenes stories that make this film even more intriguing. One of the biggest challenges in bringing After We Fell to life was the logistics of shooting during a global pandemic. As production for the film began, the world was grappling with the COVID-19 crisis, and filming conditions were far from ideal. The pandemic forced the filmmakers to adapt quickly, making numerous changes to the original shooting schedule. For many films, this would have been a deal-breaker, but After We Fell proved resilient. The production team had to implement stringent health and safety protocols on set, including frequent testing, social distancing, and limiting the number of people allowed on set at any given time. This created a unique and sometimes frustrating environment for the cast and crew, who had to navigate the usual challenges of filmmaking while also dealing with the restrictions imposed by the pandemic. One of the more unusual filming circumstances involved the locations chosen for the film. While the After series is known for its dramatic, picturesque settings, After We Fell took the crew to some truly unexpected locations. Much of the film was shot in Bulgaria, a country not typically associated with Hollywood productions. The decision to shoot in Bulgaria was primarily due to its more affordable production costs, but it also led to some interesting behind-the-scenes stories. The crew had to navigate a number of challenges associated with filming in a foreign country, from language barriers to navigating local customs. Yet, despite the hurdles, Bulgaria proved to be an unexpectedly rich backdrop for the movie's lavish, European aesthetic. One particularly memorable filming moment took place at the stunning Rila Monastery in Bulgaria, one of the film's most breathtaking locations. The monastery, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, added an aura of beauty and historical significance to one of the film's most emotional scenes. However, the logistics of shooting there were anything but smooth. The narrow pathways, steep inclines, and unpredictable weather made the shoot both physically demanding and time-consuming. The cast and crew had to work under extremely tight time constraints in order to respect the historical nature of the site, which was only available for filming for a limited period. This meant that the crew had to adapt quickly, setting up and shooting each scene in a very short window of time. It was an exhausting process, but the stunning visuals and emotional depth of the final product made every difficult moment worthwhile. Beyond the production challenges, there were also several unexpected moments and tensions on set that brought a level of unpredictability to the project. One of the more controversial aspects of the After films has always been the intense and often problematic dynamics between Tessa and Hardin. In After We Fell, these emotional and sometimes toxic moments are taken to new heights, exploring the complexities of love, pain, and betrayal. But filming these intense emotional scenes wasn't always easy for the actors involved. Josephine Langford, who plays Tessa, and hero Fiennes Tiffin, who portrays Hardin, found themselves diving deep into some incredibly heavy emotional territory throughout the film. The scenes where Tessa and Hardin face major emotional breakdowns and confrontations required a great deal of preparation, and at times, the raw intensity of the scenes led to some tension between the two actors. According to both Langford and Fiennes Tiffin, the emotional weight of these moments sometimes made it difficult to separate themselves from the characters after filming. Langford admitted in interviews that one particular scene, which involved an explosive confrontation between Tessa and Hardin, was particularly draining. She described it as a deeply emotional experience that left her feeling emotionally spent for hours after filming. The complexity of Tessa's journey in the film, where she must confront both her love for Hardin and her need for independence, made these scenes particularly difficult to shoot. Langford and Fiennes Tiffin's dedication to bringing the characters' emotional arcs to life was evident, but it came with a personal cost. There were times when the actors had to take long breaks between emotionally demanding scenes to ensure they could deliver their best performances without burning out. In an interview, Fiennes Tiffin mentioned how he and Langford would often check in with each other after particularly tough scenes, making sure they were both okay. This camaraderie on set helped them navigate the more challenging moments of filming, especially since the scenes often felt so raw and personal. Another unexpected moment on set involved the challenges of filming some of the film's more intimate and steamy scenes between Tessa and Hardin. As with any movie involving romance and physical intimacy, these scenes require a great deal of trust, coordination, and professionalism between the actors. For After We Fell, however, the added complexity came from the chemistry between Langford and Fiennes Tiffin. Despite their on-screen romance, Langford and Fiennes Tiffin have often discussed how challenging it can be to maintain a professional relationship while filming intensely intimate scenes. Both actors have spoken about the importance of creating a safe and respectful environment on set in order to ensure that these scenes feel authentic but are not uncomfortable. The chemistry between the characters is palpable on screen, but behind the scenes, it's clear that both actors worked hard to make sure the physical and emotional dynamics of their relationship felt true to the story, while also respecting boundaries. While the on-set relationships between Langford and Fiennes Tiffin were a critical part of the film's success, the supporting cast also had their moments of surprise and intrigue. One of the key supporting characters in After We Fell is Christian Vance, played by Charlie Weber. Vance's role in the story is to serve as a foil to Hardin, with his calm demeanor and seemingly perfect life. However, behind the scenes, Charlie Weber brought an entirely different energy to the set. Known for his roles in How to Get Away with Murder and The Lying Game, Weber's charisma and calm professionalism were evident in his portrayal of Christian. But what was truly fascinating was his relationship with the rest of the cast. Weber, according to interviews, had an incredible ability to keep the atmosphere light, even during the more tense moments of the film. His humor and easygoing nature helped ease some of the tension on set, especially during the more emotionally charged scenes. Weber's rapport with Fiennes Tiffin was particularly notable, as the two actors quickly developed a sibling-like bond, with Weber often giving Fiennes Tiffin advice about how to deal with the emotional demands of the film. This dynamic off-screen mirrored the relationship between Christian and Hardin in many ways, providing both humor and depth to the overall narrative. Another behind-the-scenes story that stands out is the way the film handled some of the more dramatic visual effects and set pieces. While After We Fell is primarily a character-driven drama, the filmmakers still incorporated moments of visual flair that helped elevate the story's intensity. One such moment involves the breathtaking shots of the European locations, many of which were filmed in remote or historical areas that required a great deal of logistical planning to capture. One particularly memorable sequence was filmed in the streets of Sofia, Bulgaria, where the filmmakers wanted to capture the raw beauty of the city's architecture and street life. However, as with any major location shoot, the production faced challenges with controlling traffic, dealing with unpredictable weather, and ensuring that the shots captured the right mood for the scene. It took hours of preparation and careful coordination to get everything just right. The final product, however, is visually stunning, and it adds a layer of authenticity to the emotional journey of the characters. As the film wrapped up production, the cast and crew took a moment to reflect on the journey they had just completed. It was a film that, like its central characters, had gone through its share of challenges and growing pains. From the difficulty of shooting during a global pandemic to the emotional toll of the film's intense subject matter, After We Fell was never an easy project. Yet, despite all the hurdles, the team managed to create a film that resonated with fans and critics alike, showing the resilience of the people behind the scenes. In the end, After We Fell stands as a testament to the dedication, passion, and hard work of everyone involved in its creation. Behind the glamorous, emotionally charged scenes on screen, there were moments of tension, laughter, exhaustion, and triumph. The behind-the-scenes stories reveal that making a film is as much about navigating challenges, building relationships, and pushing through adversity as it is about creating something that moves audiences. The strange and unexpected facts that emerge from the making of After We Fell only add to the allure of this captivating, often chaotic, and ultimately rewarding journey. The production of After We Fell was an exercise in creative innovation, pushing the boundaries of what a romantic drama can do both visually and narratively. While the film, at its core, is an emotional exploration of love, growth, and the complications of relationships, its technical achievements are just as impressive. From the moment the cameras rolled, it was clear that this installment would not only expand upon the already beloved world of Tessa and Hardin but also introduce new creative techniques that would elevate the storytelling. The marriage of technical innovation with the rich emotional narrative makes After We Fell a unique cinematic experience. One of the most striking aspects of the film's production is how the technical team worked to bring the story's emotional intensity to life. The visuals, from the stunning European locations to the carefully crafted set pieces, created an atmosphere that allowed the audience to feel as though they were living in Tessa and Hardin's world. It wasn't just about creating a beautiful setting, it was about creating a setting that deeply resonated with the emotions unfolding on screen. The use of locations in Bulgaria, from the ornate streets of Sofia to the breathtaking Rila Monastery, weren't just for show. They were designed to enhance the emotional stakes of the characters' journeys. Take, for instance, the scene set in the beautiful, centuries-old monastery. It wasn't just chosen for its awe-inspiring architecture but for the sense of serenity it offered, juxtaposed against the emotional chaos that Hardin and Tessa were experiencing. The crew took special care to blend the grandeur of these locations with the emotional tension of the film. What may look like a simple shot of Tessa walking along the monastery's stone walkways was actually the result of hours of meticulous planning, coordinating with local authorities to ensure that no disruptions would interfere with the scene. The lighting was another key factor in bringing these locations to life. The team carefully used natural light to enhance the beauty of these environments, adding a softness that heightened the emotional intimacy between the characters. This technical approach underscored the central theme of the film, struggling between independence and love, chaos and calm. Behind the scenes, the cinematography, led by the talented DOP, director of photography, was a driving force in shaping the film's unique visual identity. The cinematography of After We Fell is nothing short of breathtaking. The camera movements were used not just to capture the action but to subtly reflect the emotions of the characters. For instance, in scenes of intense conflict between Tessa and Hardin, the camera often mirrors their emotional turbulence. It might zoom in tighter during moments of heated arguments or linger longer during the quieter, more reflective moments of their relationship. The camera almost becomes a character in itself, adding another layer of storytelling that amplifies the raw emotions of each moment. One of the most innovative aspects of the cinematography came through in the use of lighting. The lighting in After We Fell played a critical role in elevating the mood and the emotional temperature of the story. A striking technique used was the way the filmmakers played with shadows and light to reflect the complex emotional states of Tessa and Hardin. When Tessa is struggling with her independence and the weight of her relationship, the lighting is often muted, with soft shadows reflecting the emotional fog she's trapped in. Conversely, when Hardin faces a breakthrough or a vulnerable moment, the lighting becomes more focused and dynamic, highlighting his raw emotions. The visual contrasts between shadow and light helped reinforce the thematic undercurrent of personal growth and struggle against the backdrop of a turbulent relationship. The film also stands out for its seamless integration of modern digital techniques with practical effects. While After We Fell uses stunning locations to transport the audience, the filmmakers employed various digital enhancements to elevate certain scenes. There's a scene where Hardin has to confront his past, emotionally and symbolically, and it's framed in such a way that the surroundings fade into the background as Hardin's inner turmoil takes center stage. To achieve this visual effect, the production team used a combination of green screen technology and post-production techniques to create an atmosphere of isolation around Hardin. This blending of practical and digital effects created a visual that was both emotionally grounded and surreal, echoing Hardin's struggle to break free from the emotional weight of his past. The film also made use of some very interesting narrative techniques that added to its visual appeal. The editing was particularly notable for its pacing and its ability to create tension even in quieter, more intimate moments. The editors of After We Fell made clever use of jump cuts, flashbacks, and other techniques to mirror the fractured and often chaotic state of Tessa and Hardin's relationship. These narrative choices gave the film a heightened sense of urgency. Each scene felt like it was pulling you closer to an emotional breaking point, and the quick cuts emphasized the fast-paced, often turbulent emotional landscape of the characters. This attention to pacing was important not only for the emotional arc but for the way the audience would engage with the characters. As Tessa navigates the challenges of her relationship with Hardin, the editing subtly mirrors her emotional rollercoaster. One moment, the scene might be fast-paced, showing Tessa and Hardin caught in an argument. But then the next moment, the edit might slow down, letting the lingering tension between them settle before they have a chance to react. This technique creates a sense of anticipation, always leaving the viewer on edge, wondering what will happen next. Of course, the production hurdles weren't just technical. Like any big film, After We Fell encountered its fair share of challenges that threatened to slow down or derail the project. One of the more fascinating aspects of the production was how the team managed to pull everything together despite the hurdles posed by the pandemic. With restrictions and lockdowns in place across the world, the production had to work in a constantly shifting landscape, adapting to new regulations and unpredictable circumstances. There were moments when the crew had to film under extremely tight schedules and deal with interruptions from local authorities. At one point, a significant scene was nearly cancelled when local lockdown restrictions were suddenly imposed just hours before shooting was set to begin. The production team, known for their dedication and resourcefulness, managed to quickly pivot, coming up with creative solutions that allowed filming to continue without losing momentum. Another fascinating behind-the-scenes story is the way in which the film's wardrobe choices were integrated into the storytelling. Costume designer Heather Shaw worked closely with the director and the actors to ensure that the costumes reflected the emotional arcs of the characters, without being overly obvious. Tessa's wardrobe, for instance, evolves throughout the movie, mirroring her internal transformation. In the early scenes of the film, she is often seen in subdued colors, muted greens, blues, and grays, which reflect her attempts to blend in, to play it safe, and to maintain control over her environment. However, as Tessa grows and begins to assert her independence, her wardrobe shifts to brighter, more confident hues, symbolizing her journey of self-discovery. Similarly, Hardin's wardrobe, often darker, more intense, reflects the complexity of his character. As his emotional journey becomes more vulnerable and raw, the filmmakers subtly incorporated softer tones in his clothing choices, marking a visual representation of his desire to change. Perhaps one of the more groundbreaking narrative techniques used in After We Fell was its handling of emotional realism. The film doesn't shy away from depicting the raw, often messy emotional realities of relationships. While some romantic dramas tend to idealize love, After We Fell takes a more honest approach, showing how love can be both transformative and painful. This grounded, almost documentary-like realism was achieved through a combination of naturalistic acting, intimate camera work, and a delicate editing style that allowed the raw emotions to unfold slowly and organically. The film's director, Castille Landon, worked tirelessly with the cast to ensure that the emotional weight of each scene felt grounded in reality. The performances of Josephine Langford and Fiennes Tiffin were critical to this approach. Both actors fully embraced the vulnerability required for such a portrayal. In addition to the performances, the film's sound design was another crucial component in making the emotional journey feel so real. The music choices in After We Fell were carefully curated to enhance the emotional stakes of each moment. But what's fascinating is the way the sound team used silence and ambient noise to amplify the tension. For example, in some of the more emotionally intense moments between Tessa and Hardin, the absence of music heightens the feeling of isolation, making the audience feel as if they are experiencing the tension firsthand. This use of silence adds weight to the already tense atmosphere, drawing the viewer into the intimate emotional space of the characters. Lastly, the team behind After We Fell made bold decisions with the film's pacing. Where most romance films would rely on the usual beats, ups and downs, moments of reconciliation, and predictable climaxes, After We Fell took risks with its pacing, allowing tension to simmer and emotions to build gradually. It's a film that doesn't rush the emotional catharsis but instead lets it unfold in a way that feels true to life, full of peaks and valleys. In the end, After We Fell is a film that balances emotional depth with technical mastery, creating an immersive experience that resonates long after the credits roll. Through its creative and technical innovations, such as its cinematography, sound design, and editing, the film brings to life the intense emotional stakes of Tessa and Hardin's journey, while the behind-the-scenes stories remind us that filmmaking is a constant dance of creativity, collaboration, and adaptability. From overcoming production challenges to making bold choices in visual storytelling, the making of After We Fell is as captivating as the movie itself. After We Fell is not just another installment in a successful teen romance saga. While the series undoubtedly continues to explore the tumultuous, passionate relationship between Tessa and Hardin, the third film digs deeper into themes that resonate beyond the screen. Beneath the surface of intense arguments, stolen moments of tenderness, and betrayals, After We Fell reflects larger societal issues, offering a nuanced exploration of love, independence, self-identity, and the struggle for personal freedom. The film challenges not only the characters' understanding of themselves and their relationship, but also offers a mirror to the real-world struggles that many face when navigating the complexities of modern life. From the very beginning of the movie, it's clear that Tessa and Hardin's journey isn't just about reconciling love with conflict. It's about finding balance between personal growth and romantic attachment. This duality is woven into every moment, from Tessa's internal battle between her desire for independence and her deep-rooted connection with Hardin, to Hardin's own fight against his past and his overwhelming need for control. Their relationship represents a constant push and pull, a cycle of chaos and calm, where each character is forced to confront their own weaknesses and fears in order to find a path forward. This tension encapsulates the broader theme of After We Fell, the difficulty of finding one's true self amidst a world that is often uncertain and unpredictable. At its core, After We Fell is a film about transformation. But not just the transformation of the characters themselves, but the way in which their relationships force them to evolve, often in painful and unexpected ways. The most obvious transformation is Tessa's. From the moment we meet her, she is a young woman who has allowed herself to be shaped by the people around her, by her mother, her friends, and, most significantly, by Hardin. But as the story unfolds, we see her slowly unravel from the tightly wound, predictable person she once was. In After We Fell, Tessa begins to break free from the idea of who others think she should be and begins to rediscover her own identity. This transformation is sparked by a series of events that leave her questioning her relationship with Hardin, her career, and even her future. Symbolically, Tessa's journey is tied to the image of breaking free from a cage, a theme that becomes more apparent as the film progresses. In the film's earlier moments, we see Tessa trapped within the confines of a life she's constructed around the expectations of those closest to her. Her relationship with Hardin, which began with a sense of escape, has, over time, morphed into something that restricts her. She's suffocating in her devotion to him, and while there's no denying the deep love she feels for him, her own desires and dreams are being stifled. In one pivotal scene, Tessa realizes that her independence has been compromised. It is in that moment that the idea of a cage becomes literal. She is locked into a metaphorical prison, unable to move forward unless she takes control of her life again. Hardin, too, undergoes a significant transformation. While his growth is less obvious on the surface, the film shows his constant battle with his inner demons, and his eventual shift towards self-realization. He is the classic example of someone who is haunted by their past, by family trauma, addiction, and the need for validation. His desire to control his environment, including his relationship with Tessa, stems from his inability to confront his own fears. As the film progresses, we see Hardin slowly start to understand that control isn't the key to love, and that he must confront his own vulnerabilities if he hopes to build a healthier relationship. Hardin's transformation is more internal than Tessa's, but equally significant. Where Tessa's evolution is about her outward sense of self and independence, Hardin's journey is about accepting the things he cannot control: his past, his emotions, and ultimately, his love for Tessa. The evolving dynamic between Tessa and Hardin is, in many ways, a symbol for the tension between independence and dependency in relationships. The film doesn't shy away from showing the negative consequences of being too dependent on someone else for emotional stability. Tessa's decision to step away from Hardin at key moments in the film reflects this. It's her acknowledgement that, while love can be all-consuming, it can't be the sole anchor for her identity. She must find a way to stand on her own feet, even if it means risking the loss of her most cherished relationship. This struggle is palpable in the many scenes where Tessa is torn between following her own desires and staying true to the connection she shares with Hardin. It is a timeless issue, one that echoes a real-world tension many people experience in their own lives: how to maintain one's individuality while remaining deeply connected to someone else. While these personal growth arcs play out, the film also offers a broader commentary on societal pressures, particularly the expectations placed on young women. Tessa's journey, especially in relation to her career and her relationship with Hardin, reflects the internalized pressures that society places on women to have it all figured out. The idea that she should know what she wants out of life, both professionally and personally, at such a young age is a challenge that many young adults, particularly women, face in real life. Throughout After We Fell, Tessa is confronted with external pressures, whether it's the expectations of her mother, the complexities of her friendship with Landon, or her career aspirations. The film highlights the struggles of balancing these expectations with one's own desires, and it critiques a society that often forces women to make decisions about their futures before they are truly ready. Moreover, After We Fell explores how relationships, especially those rooted in obsession and control, can exacerbate issues of identity and self-worth. Hardin's controlling nature and his emotional volatility force Tessa to reckon with her own boundaries. In this sense, the movie touches on more difficult social issues, including toxic relationships and the importance of setting boundaries. Hardin's journey towards self-acceptance and learning to relinquish control echoes broader cultural conversations about toxic masculinity and the pressures placed on men to suppress their emotions or dominate relationships. His arc in this film reveals that, much like women, men, too, must confront their vulnerabilities to build healthier relationships, a theme that is timely and resonant in today's discussions about emotional health and gender norms. Symbolism plays an essential role in amplifying the film's thematic explorations. The presence of water throughout After We Fell is a particularly poignant symbol, representing both the fluidity and uncertainty of life and love. Water is something that can be both life-giving and destructive. In one sequence, the characters are seen by the ocean, where the waves crash violently against the shore, mirroring the emotional turbulence in their relationship. The ocean represents not only the uncontrollable aspects of life but also the potential for growth and renewal. Just as the ocean's waves recede, so too does the tension between Tessa and Hardin, allowing for moments of peace and understanding. Another symbolic element is the recurring motif of keys and locks. These objects appear subtly throughout the film, suggesting both the need to protect one's emotional boundaries and the idea of opening oneself to new possibilities. For Tessa, the metaphorical key is her ability to unlock her own potential. She must let go of the idea of being trapped in her relationship and take charge of her future. For Hardin, the key represents the unlocking of his own trauma and the freedom that comes from confronting his past. The film uses these symbols to deepen its exploration of the characters' emotional landscapes, making the symbolism feel like an integral part of the narrative, rather than a separate or forced element. Additionally, the setting of the film, mostly taking place in glamorous European locales, offers a visual metaphor for the escapism that the characters seek. These grand locations, from opulent hotels to historic landmarks, represent the idealized version of life that both Tessa and Hardin long for, yet they also act as a stark reminder that perfection is fleeting. The characters' attempts to find happiness in these beautiful surroundings often clash with the turmoil in their personal lives, showing that no amount of external beauty can fix the internal struggles they face. After We Fell also captures a specific moment in time, a society grappling with new ideals of independence and emotional authenticity. Tessa's journey towards self-discovery and Hardin's path to emotional healing speak to the growing societal recognition that love and relationships must evolve beyond outdated norms. The film challenges the traditional romantic ideal of love as something purely transformative, instead offering a more complicated, realistic view. Love is not about finding someone to complete you but learning to accept yourself while sharing your life with someone else. This message resonates in an era where many are re-evaluating what it means to love, be loved, and create healthy, fulfilling relationships. In conclusion, After We Fell transcends its genre by integrating complex themes of personal growth, love, identity, and societal expectations. It invites viewers to reflect on their own relationships and the ways in which they balance personal desires with the influence of others. The symbolism, from water to keys, reinforces these ideas, creating a visual and emotional landscape that deepens the film's exploration of what it means to navigate the challenging waters of love and self-identity. Whether through the characters' personal transformations or the subtle social commentary embedded in the narrative, After We Fell offers more than just a romantic escape. It provides a mirror to the real-world struggles many face in their own emotional journeys. In After We Fell, the complexity of love, identity, and personal growth serves as the core of the narrative, interwoven into every scene and relationship. As the third installment of the After saga, the film pushes beyond simple romantic tropes and delves into the deeper emotional and psychological undercurrents that define relationships. Through Tessa and Hardin's turbulent journey, the movie explores themes that resonate deeply with anyone who has ever been caught between the desire for independence and the yearning for connection. It's a film that not only depicts the intricacies of love and personal evolution but also reflects broader societal issues, such as control in relationships, the societal expectations placed on young people, and the importance of self-discovery. At the heart of the film, Tessa's internal struggle between independence and attachment to Hardin mirrors a universal dilemma many face: whether to remain in relationships that are emotionally turbulent or break free to forge one's own path. From the very beginning, Tessa is positioned as someone trying to find balance in her life, torn between the life she's built with Hardin and the career and personal identity she's been striving to build on her own. She is constantly questioned about who she should be, whether by her mother, by Hardin, or even by her colleagues. Tessa's story is more than a romance. It's a journey of self-liberation. In the face of an all-consuming relationship, Tessa must find her own voice and identity, something that echoes a larger, often overlooked aspect of growing up: the necessity of forging one's path in the world, even if it means taking difficult steps away from those you love. Tessa's evolution serves as a form of resistance to the idealized notion of love that the media and culture often push upon young women. The kind of love depicted in After We Fell is not flawless or effortless. It is messy, uncertain, and at times painful. The constant friction between Tessa's desire for freedom and Hardin's suffocating attachment reflects a toxic form of love that many people find themselves trapped in. However, the beauty of Tessa's journey lies in her eventual realization that she can be both independent and in love. The struggle is about finding a balance, which is often a lifelong challenge for many young adults navigating the complexities of identity, relationships, and career ambitions. This theme of finding independence in love is mirrored in Hardin's own journey, though in a different way. Hardin's relationship with Tessa, while initially an escape from his own painful past, has morphed into something controlling and suffocating. For much of the film, Hardin is an embodiment of emotional chaos and unresolved trauma. His life has been defined by his inability to let go of his past mistakes, his deep-rooted insecurities, and his overwhelming need to control those around him, especially Tessa. Hardin's emotional volatility serves as a barrier to both his own healing and his ability to form a healthier relationship. His journey throughout the film is about coming to terms with the idea that control is not the answer, and that love cannot thrive under the weight of secrecy and power struggles. Hardin's transformation, though more gradual than Tessa's, is just as important to the film's message. His story embodies the internalized pressures of toxic masculinity, where vulnerability is seen as weakness, and emotions are something to be controlled rather than expressed. Hardin's struggle to deal with his feelings, particularly his fear of abandonment, becomes a reflection of society's expectations placed on men to hide their emotions and maintain a facade of strength. However, After We Fell shows that this idea of strength is a mirage. Hardin's eventual realization that he must face his emotional demons head-on and allow himself to be vulnerable is a key turning point in the film. It speaks to the larger conversation about men's mental health and the importance of emotional openness, particularly in the context of relationships. The recurring motif of transformation in the film, through both Tessa and Hardin's personal growth, also speaks to a larger theme of reinvention. Both characters, especially Tessa, have to redefine who they are in order to truly thrive. Tessa's metamorphosis is symbolized by her outward appearance, her wardrobe, her choices, and her career. In contrast to the beginning of the series, where she dressed in a more conservative and restrained manner, her style evolves to reflect a newfound confidence and a deeper sense of self. This transformation is not just about the external, however. It represents Tessa's internal growth as she comes into her own power. She must find the courage to make choices for herself, not just for the people around her. Her journey is about shedding the expectations others have placed on her and learning to assert her own identity. For Hardin, the process of reinvention is much harder. His growth is stunted by his past, especially his relationship with his father. The trauma of abandonment and abuse continues to haunt him, creating a fragile ego that is both defensive and destructive. Hardin's character is a study in the impact of emotional scars and the difficulty of letting go of past mistakes. His journey is about learning to accept that he cannot change the past, but he can take responsibility for his actions moving forward. This theme of redemption runs throughout the film, culminating in Hardin's realization that love cannot be built on control, and that true love is grounded in mutual respect, honesty, and vulnerability. The symbolism in After We Fell is rich with meaning, deepening the narrative's exploration of personal evolution and the struggle between love and independence. Water, in particular, is a powerful symbol throughout the film. It represents both the fluidity of life and the uncertainty of love. The water imagery often appears when the characters are at their most emotionally vulnerable, whether it's a moment by the ocean or a symbolic reflection in a body of water. Water's duality as both life-giving and destructive mirrors the characters' relationships with each other. It can be a force for healing and growth, but it can also drown them if they aren't careful. This theme of emotional turbulence is echoed through the use of natural elements throughout the film, such as the windswept landscapes that reflect the chaos in their hearts. Another significant symbol is the presence of keys and locks, objects that evoke themes of control, security, and emotional barriers. These symbols underscore the film's exploration of boundaries within relationships. Tessa's journey is marked by the need to unlock her own potential and escape from the metaphorical lock she feels trapped in. Her struggles to find a sense of personal freedom are mirrored in Hardin's internal struggle with the idea of vulnerability. The keys represent the potential for transformation, both in their relationship and in their individual lives. By the end of the film, the idea of unlocking a door no longer represents control but the freedom to be oneself. It's a release of the constraints both characters have placed on each other, a symbolic gesture toward breaking free from old patterns of behavior. The film's commentary on societal expectations, particularly the pressures on young women, is both subtle and poignant. Tessa's arc throughout After We Fell reflects the very real struggles that many young women face as they try to define themselves in a world that often tries to impose rigid definitions of success, love, and ambition. In many ways, Tessa embodies the pressures placed on women to have it all, to be successful in their careers, perfect in their relationships, and emotionally resilient. After We Fell challenges this expectation by showing that it's okay to not have everything figured out. It's okay to make mistakes and to take the time to rediscover who you are outside of your relationships. Tessa's journey becomes not only one of personal independence but also a reclaiming of her own narrative. Similarly, the film provides a subtle but effective commentary on toxic relationships, not just in the context of romance but in the ways that people, particularly young adults, are often socialized to accept unhealthy behavior. The dynamic between Tessa and Hardin represents a relationship that, while filled with passion, is also deeply flawed. It reflects the struggle many people face when navigating the complexities of love, when love becomes a source of pain rather than joy, but you can't seem to walk away. The film doesn't romanticize this toxic dynamic. Instead, it shows the toll it takes on the individuals involved. It's a reminder that love should not come at the cost of your mental and emotional well-being. Tessa's decision to seek independence and prioritize her own needs is a powerful statement about the importance of self-care and emotional health in relationships. In a larger cultural context, After We Fell speaks to the changing landscape of love in the 21st century, where young people are increasingly seeking relationships that offer more than just surface-level connections. The film challenges the conventional notions of love as an idealized state of happiness and instead portrays it as a journey full of ups and downs. It acknowledges that love is complex, and that true love isn't about finding someone who completes you but about discovering how to grow alongside another person. Tessa and Hardin's journey may be messy and tumultuous, but it's also real. It's a reflection of the modern understanding that love is not static. It's a living, evolving force that demands constant work and self-awareness. In conclusion, After We Fell explores not just the intricacies of love but the personal and societal struggles that shape the way we navigate relationships. Through Tessa and Hardin's emotional evolution, the film delves into themes of independence, self-discovery, toxic dynamics, and the pressure to conform to societal expectations. The symbols of water, keys, and locks deepen the film's exploration of emotional vulnerability, while its broader social commentary encourages viewers to reflect on their own relationships and how they balance love, independence, and self-identity. The movie may have all the trappings of a romance, but its deeper messages about growth, personal freedom, and the complexities of modern relationships make it a truly multidimensional experience. In After We Fell, the filmmaking techniques elevate the emotional resonance of the story, reinforcing the narrative themes and the complex dynamics between the characters. The visual style, cinematography, editing, sound design, and music all play critical roles in immersing the audience in Tessa and Hardin's world, amplifying the stakes of their turbulent relationship and amplifying the intimate and emotional undertones that underscore their journey. Each artistic decision serves as a key to unlocking the deeper layers of the film, helping to illustrate the intricate internal struggles the characters undergo and heightening the audience's connection to their experiences. This seamless integration of visuals and sound plays an essential role in shaping how viewers experience After We Fell, making the film feel both intensely personal and cinematic. The visual style of After We Fell is marked by its rich color palette and its careful use of lighting to highlight the emotional journeys of the characters. One of the defining features of the film is its ability to mirror the internal landscapes of Tessa and Hardin with external visual cues. The color choices throughout the film are not only aesthetic but are symbolic in their relationship to the characters' states of mind. Early on, the color palette leans toward cooler tones. Blues and grays dominate the scenes when Tessa and Hardin are dealing with internal conflict, showing a certain emotional distance and the unresolved tension in their relationship. These muted tones reflect Tessa's emotional state. She is uncertain about her place in the world and in her relationship with Hardin, torn between the security of the past and the uncertain promise of her future. As the film progresses, the palette begins to warm up, particularly during moments of intimacy or personal breakthrough. The transition from cool to warm colors signals emotional development and the growing understanding between the characters. For instance, scenes where Tessa and Hardin begin to connect on a deeper level are often bathed in soft golden light, symbolizing the potential for healing and the warmth of their shared moments. This use of light to illustrate emotional evolution is a deliberate stylistic choice that makes the characters' growth visually palpable. Even during moments of tension or argument, the lighting never feels harsh. Instead, it feels like a reflection of the storm within them, adding layers to the emotional narrative. The cinematography in After We Fell also plays a pivotal role in enhancing the intimacy and complexity of the characters' relationships. The camera often lingers on the characters' faces, capturing subtle shifts in expression that convey more than dialogue ever could. This close-up work creates an intimacy between the audience and the characters, allowing viewers to truly feel the weight of Tessa and Hardin's internal struggles. It's particularly effective in moments of vulnerability, such as when Hardin is confronting his past or when Tessa is faced with difficult decisions about her future. The decision to use close-ups allows the audience to read the characters' emotions through micro-expressions, making their journey feel more authentic and immediate. Wide shots, in contrast, are often employed to convey a sense of isolation or distance between the characters. In key moments of tension, such as when Tessa and Hardin are physically separated or emotionally at odds, the film pulls back to show their physical distance in the frame. These wide shots serve as a visual representation of their emotional disconnect, underscoring the fractured nature of their relationship at that moment. It's in these moments that the cinematography becomes an active player in the narrative, not merely observing the action but shaping how the audience interprets the emotional and psychological landscape of the characters. In terms of editing, After We Fell moves at a deliberate pace, allowing the emotional beats of the story to unfold naturally without feeling rushed. The film doesn't rely on quick cuts or fast-paced sequences to convey its emotional depth. Instead, it embraces slower, more methodical pacing, allowing the weight of the characters' decisions and actions to sink in. This choice of pacing reflects the characters' own internal rhythms. Much like Tessa and Hardin's unpredictable relationship, the film takes its time, forcing the audience to linger in the moments of tension, anticipation, and release. In particular, During moments of confrontation or reconciliation, the editing holds longer shots, giving the actors the space to fully inhabit the emotions of the scene. This pacing allows the audience to be fully immersed in the tension of each interaction, drawing them deeper into the emotional core of the story. The transitions between scenes are also thoughtfully executed, with a tendency to favor fades or slow dissolves, which further imbue the film with a sense of emotional fluidity. These transitions reflect the natural flow of life and the ebb and flow of love, symbolizing the changing emotional landscapes that Tessa and Hardin must navigate. There's a gentleness to the editing style, even in moments of high conflict, which keeps the film grounded in its emotional essence rather than relying on overly dramatic or flashy techniques. Equally important is the sound design, which subtly but effectively supports the film's emotional impact. The soundscape of After We Fell is not overtly complex but plays an integral role in heightening the atmosphere. The ambient sounds are often muted, drawing the audience's attention to the characters and their interactions. The quietness of these moments enhances the emotional weight of the scenes, allowing the tension between Tessa and Hardin to resonate deeply. This minimalistic approach to sound creates an intimacy with the characters, making each interaction feel more personal and vulnerable. The use of silence in pivotal moments, such as during heavy emotional confrontations or moments of introspection, adds a layer of weight and significance to the scene. The absence of sound amplifies the internal struggles the characters are facing, leaving space for the audience to feel the full gravity of their emotions. In scenes where Hardin is wrestling with his past or Tessa is struggling to make a difficult decision about her future, the quiet moments provide a canvas for the actors' performances to shine, and the film becomes almost meditative in its exploration of their internal conflicts. The music in After We Fell is equally essential to its emotional landscape. The soundtrack weaves in and out of the film, providing a musical commentary on the emotional tone of each scene. The use of contemporary, moody tracks plays a key role in setting the mood for many of the romantic and conflict-driven moments. The music is often soft and atmospheric, reflecting the lingering tension between Tessa and Hardin. It never overwhelms the scene but subtly underscores the underlying emotions that the characters are experiencing. One notable choice is the use of slow, introspective songs during key emotional beats. For instance, when Tessa and Hardin are grappling with their personal issues or facing moments of doubt, the music slows down, mimicking the internal chaos the characters are feeling. The songs help to convey the unsaid emotions, bringing the audience deeper into the characters' hearts and minds. This choice highlights the thematic depth of the film, which revolves around the characters' emotional growth and the complexity of their relationship. The soundtrack does not merely provide background music. It serves as a reflection of their evolving emotions and the transformation they undergo throughout the film. The juxtaposition of sound and silence, combined with the music's emotive power, allows After We Fell to connect with its audience on a visceral level. The music guides the viewer through the characters' emotional highs and lows, reinforcing the themes of self-discovery, love, and independence that permeate the film. As Tessa and Hardin move through their journey, the soundtrack becomes a reflection of their changing dynamic, shifting from melancholic and reflective to hopeful and affirming as they begin to understand each other more fully. The director's vision for After We Fell is marked by a sense of intimacy and emotional depth, which is consistently reinforced by the visual and auditory choices made throughout the film. Rather than relying on typical teen romance tropes or dramatic flourishes, the director opts for a more grounded approach, allowing the complexity of the characters and their emotions to shine through. Every visual choice, from the color palette to the use of space within the frame, contributes to the overarching theme of emotional evolution. The film's pacing and editing create an atmosphere that encourages the audience to sit with the characters' struggles, while the sound design and music ensure that the emotional beats hit with maximum impact. What stands out about the film's stylistic choices is how they align with the central theme of personal transformation. The intimacy of the cinematography, the careful use of color, and the deliberate pacing all mirror Tessa and Hardin's respective journeys of self-discovery and emotional healing. The choices are not merely aesthetic but are intricately linked to the emotional landscape the director seeks to create. The audience isn't just watching a story unfold. They're invited into the character's world, feeling their every triumph, heartbreak, and breakthrough. In conclusion, After We Fell uses cinematic techniques to create a deeply immersive experience that enhances the emotional power of the story. The visual style, with its use of lighting and color, aligns with the characters' emotional arcs, while the cinematography's focus on intimate moments captures the depth of their inner turmoil and growth. The editing's deliberate pacing and seamless transitions allow the emotional weight of the narrative to resonate, while the sound design and music subtly amplify the themes of love, conflict, and personal transformation. Together, these elements form a cohesive and powerful storytelling tool, drawing the audience into the world of Tessa and Hardin and making their journey feel personal and real. The film's visual and auditory choices are not just technical decisions, they are integral to conveying the emotional heart of the story, shaping how viewers connect with the characters and the deeper themes that drive the narrative. After We Fell stands as a quintessential moment in modern cinematic history, not only marking the continuation of a beloved book series but also cementing itself as a cultural phenomenon that transcends its genre. The film's lasting impact goes far beyond its romantic storylines, touching upon themes of identity, self-discovery, and emotional vulnerability, which resonate with a generation that often finds itself navigating complicated relationships in a world of increasing uncertainty. From its influence on the teen romance genre to its more subtle shaping of broader cultural conversations, After We Fell is a film whose legacy continues to be felt long after the credits roll. At its core, After We Fell is part of a larger trend in cinema that explores the complex, often messy nature of young love and relationships. While many teen romance films of the past focused on idealized versions of romance, think The Notebook or Twilight, After We Fell challenges that narrative by showing love not as a perfect, storybook ending but as a chaotic, unpredictable force. The film's portrayal of love, laden with emotional intensity, flaws, and growth, provided a fresh perspective that was increasingly relevant to young audiences seeking something more realistic and relatable. By delving into themes like independence, control, and personal evolution within the framework of a passionate relationship, After We Fell has left a lasting imprint on how teen romances are portrayed in modern cinema. No longer are these relationships seen as mere fairy tales. They are grounded in emotional reality, where characters face hard truths and struggle to reconcile their personal needs with their love for one another. In terms of its impact on filmmaking, After We Fell represents the convergence of several emerging trends in the industry, particularly the popularity of book-to-film adaptations, the rise of streaming platforms as significant distributors, and a continued shift toward a more authentic portrayal of emotional and mental health in popular media. The film's success helped reinforce the growing trend of young adult novels being adapted into major motion pictures, which has become a genre unto itself in recent years. The After series, beginning with After, 2019, and continuing with After We Collided, 2020, and After Ever Happy, 2022, contributed to the rise of films that not only appealed to teen audiences but also spoke to a broader demographic of young adults navigating their own struggles with identity, love, and independence. However, After We Fell did more than just fit neatly into this genre, it reshaped it. By avoiding the more conventional tropes of many young adult films, the film's focus on personal growth and the messy nature of modern love pushed the boundaries of what was expected in teen romance. The incorporation of darker, more complex emotional conflicts, such as toxic relationships, mental health issues, and family trauma, gave the film a sense of gravity and relevance that many viewers found refreshing. Rather than offering escapism, it offered a mirror to the challenges many young people face, making it a significant cultural touchstone in the evolving narrative of romantic cinema. The film's cultural influence extends beyond just its genre. It has played a role in shifting societal attitudes toward relationships, mental health, and self-empowerment. Tessa's journey is not just about falling in love. It's about finding her own voice and carving out a future that is true to herself. This is a narrative arc that resonates deeply with contemporary audiences, particularly young women who face societal pressures to be everything to everyone, from their partners to their families to their careers. Tessa's arc, which centers on learning to put her own needs and desires first, is a refreshing narrative in an age when self-care and mental health are becoming central to public discourse. The film positions Tessa's self-discovery as just as important as her romantic relationship, which sets it apart from other teen dramas where the romance takes center stage and the protagonist's individual growth is secondary. Similarly, Hardin's emotional struggles, his issues with anger, his toxic relationship with his father, and his battle with his past mistakes, echo a growing public conversation about mental health, particularly among men. Hardin's character gives a face to the type of emotional vulnerability that is often hidden behind a facade of stoicism and toughness, and in doing so, it encourages viewers to confront their own internal battles. The film's nuanced approach to these issues has helped shape a broader cultural conversation about the importance of emotional openness and mental well-being, making it a significant cultural touchstone in terms of the evolving attitudes toward masculinity and emotional health. The cultural impact of After We Fell is also evident in its immense popularity, particularly among fans of the After book series, who found in the film an evocative representation of the characters they had come to know and love. The After films have fostered a dedicated and passionate fanbase, whose loyalty to the story and characters has only grown over time. Social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok have been flooded with fan content. Everything from fan art to discussions about the film's deeper meanings, character analysis, and relationships. The way the film has been embraced by its fans highlights how deeply these characters have resonated with viewers, and how After We Fell has become an essential part of the larger pop culture lexicon. Moreover, the film's success has had a direct impact on its cast and creators. For the actors, After We Fell has propelled them into the international spotlight, with stars like Josephine Langford, Tessa, and hero Fiennes Tiffin, Hardin, becoming household names among fans of the series. Their performances in the film have been praised for their depth and authenticity, and their portrayals of Tessa and Hardin have become definitive. The success of the After franchise has allowed the actors to transition to other projects, broadening their careers and showcasing their talents on a wider stage. The film's popularity has also brought attention to the filmmakers behind the project, including director Castille Landon, who has been recognized for her ability to capture the emotional intricacies of young love and translate them onto the screen. Landon's ability to balance moments of intense emotion with the sweeping drama of the story speaks to her strong command of visual storytelling. As for the broader entertainment industry, After We Fell has had a lasting impact on how young adult stories are adapted for the screen. The commercial success of the After films has made studios and producers more likely to invest in similar adaptations of popular YA novels, knowing there is a dedicated audience that craves these kinds of emotionally driven stories. Additionally, the way the film deals with contemporary issues such as mental health, toxic relationships, and the complexities of growing up has set a new standard for how these themes can be addressed in mainstream cinema. While it may not have received major awards recognition, the film has garnered a loyal following and established itself as a defining entry in the modern young adult film genre. Beyond the impact on filmmaking, After We Fell has become an integral part of the conversation about modern relationships and identity. It has touched on themes that are at the forefront of cultural discussions today, such as the importance of individuality within relationships, emotional vulnerability, the complexities of mental health, and the shifting dynamics of power and control in romance. These are issues that have only grown more relevant over time, which is why After We Fell has continued to hold significance even as it moves further away from its original release. Even years after its release, After We Fell continues to be referenced and analyzed in discussions about teen romance films, emotional growth in relationships, and the portrayal of mental health in cinema. The film's influence can be seen in the growing number of films and series that explore complex, realistic portrayals of young love and self-discovery, echoing the narrative choices that After We Fell made so successfully. The way the film tackled difficult topics, without glorifying toxicity or romanticizing unhealthy behavior, has helped shape a new wave of romantic storytelling that is more grounded, more raw, and more emotionally resonant. In conclusion, After We Fell is a film that transcends its genre and its time. While it is undeniably a part of the larger After saga, it is also a story that reflects the emotional, cultural, and social undercurrents of modern life. Its impact on teen romance films is undeniable, as it pushed boundaries, introduced new thematic territory, and helped redefine how love and personal growth are portrayed in modern cinema. The film's legacy endures in its lasting cultural relevance, its influence on filmmaking, and its role in shifting societal perceptions of relationships, mental health, and identity. As time passes, After We Fell will continue to be a touchstone for viewers navigating the complexities of love, personal growth, and the search for self in a world that constantly challenges those very ideals. Its significance will endure, not just as a film but as a cultural landmark in the landscape of modern romance. As we reach the end of our deep dive into After We Fell, it's clear that the film is much more than just a continuation of a beloved book series. It's a cinematic experience that has captivated audiences, ignited conversations, and left a significant imprint on both the teen romance genre and broader pop culture. This film stands out not only for its passionate depiction of love and personal growth but also for how it tackles some of the most difficult and relevant themes of our time. Whether it's the emotional vulnerability of its characters, the exploration of toxic relationships and mental health, or its raw, authentic portrayal of love's complexities, After We Fell refuses to shy away from the difficult realities of young adulthood. The film excels in its ability to capture the chaos, beauty, and transformation of its characters' emotional journeys. At the heart of it all is Tessa, a young woman who grapples with not only her relationship with Hardin but with her own identity, aspirations, and understanding of who she wants to become. The film expertly navigates the intricate layers of her journey, allowing the audience to experience her growth, her struggles, and her ultimate realization that she deserves more than just a love story. She deserves a love that empowers her. And Hardin, with all his flaws and emotional scars, becomes a mirror of vulnerability, showcasing that love is not just about fixing each other but growing together, learning from mistakes, and forgiving the past. The performances of Josephine Langford and hero Fiennes Tiffin are impeccable, bringing to life the nuanced characters in ways that feel both real and poignant, driving home the emotional power of their evolving relationship. Visually, the film's cinematography and lighting choices complement the emotional gravity of the narrative, with the color palette shifting to mirror the characters' growth and the ebb and flow of their relationship. The intimate close-ups invite the audience into the characters' inner worlds, allowing us to feel every moment of tension, hope, heartbreak, and reconciliation. The film's pacing, while deliberate, gives us the time to sit with the characters' conflicts and triumphs, enhancing the emotional weight of each scene. The sound design, often minimalist, allows for silence to become as powerful as dialogue, and the carefully curated music underscores the emotional beats, making the soundtrack an integral part of the storytelling experience. Beyond its technical brilliance, After We Fell resonates deeply because it speaks to universal experiences of love, self-discovery, and overcoming obstacles. The film's exploration of toxic relationships, emotional growth, and the complexity of personal healing speaks to a generation that is learning to navigate the intricacies of both romantic and personal relationships. It challenges the idealized notions of love that have dominated previous teen romances and instead presents a more grounded, authentic portrayal of what it means to love and be loved. The struggles between Tessa and Hardin are not just about two people facing challenges. They are reflections of the broader challenges of understanding oneself, finding balance in a relationship, and knowing when to fight for something and when to walk away for the sake of personal well-being. Culturally, After We Fell has become more than just a film. It is a cultural conversation starter. Its impact extends far beyond its immediate fanbase, with its characters and themes echoing across social media platforms, fan fiction communities, and real-world discussions. Fans have embraced the characters of Tessa and Hardin with unwavering devotion, and their engagement with the film has continued to fuel conversations about love, mental health, and personal transformation. In a world where many young people are grappling with questions of identity and emotional well-being, After We Fell offers both a mirror and a guide, showing that love is not just a fairy tale but a journey filled with bumps, growth, and moments of profound realization. The lasting influence of After We Fell also speaks to its broader cultural significance. The film continues to influence the teen romance genre, pushing filmmakers and storytellers to embrace more complex narratives about relationships and the human condition. It has shown that films can both entertain and offer a deeper commentary on the challenges young people face today. By addressing themes like mental health, the complexity of modern love, and personal growth, After We Fell ensures that the films of the future will not shy away from telling the difficult, nuanced stories of love, identity, and healing. It's a reminder that cinema, at its best, can reflect the real world, its flaws, its beauty, and its transformative power. In conclusion, After We Fell is more than just a continuation of a saga. It's a film that encapsulates the heart of what modern romance can be, both raw and healing, complex and simple. Through its characters, visuals, and themes, it gives us a window into a world where love is not perfect, but it is real, complicated, and worth fighting for. Its influence continues to resonate, and its legacy in shaping how we understand love, relationships, and personal growth will undoubtedly persist. This film stands as a testament to the power of emotional storytelling, its ability to challenge audiences, and its unwavering focus on what it truly means to love and live authentically. If you loved this breakdown, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of cinema. Let's keep exploring movies together. There's always more to uncover, and with films like After We Fell, we're just getting started.